Hello and welcome back, or welcome for your first time. My name is Sri Amira of Connect Yoga, bringing you another Flow Friday yoga video. My goal in this space is to provide you with the opportunity to flow accessibly on your own time, in your own space, no matter the level or age that you are, and flowing in a practical and reasonable way that feels good to you. If you like what you see here, take a moment to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and hit the bell below to sign up for updates for new releases every single Friday. Today's video will be focusing on a beginner flow. So if you're new to yoga and haven't tried it before and want to tap in to see what it's all about, or if you've been practicing for some time and you're looking to either slow things down, get back to the basics, or learn some new things, then this video is for you. So not required, but suggested to have a blanket and or a couple of blocks nearby, as we might be relying on them throughout our practice for today. So let's get started. I'm gonna sit seated, cross-legged up on the top of my blanket here. And as you arrive in a seated cross-legged position, you can also just sit on the ground. You can sit on one of your blocks, whatever feels best for you. And just to set, the stage for what we'll be doing today, we'll be moving through some very basic and more common yoga poses. So these may be new poses that you haven't done before, especially if you're new to yoga, or some ones that maybe you've practiced in a space or in other videos that you've seen online. So again, getting reacclimated with those poses and how they feel in our body. So we'll hold them for a few breaths before transitioning. So it will be a shorter sequence of poses, but longer in the sense of we'll be in them for about 3 to 5 breaths each. So we'll also be focusing on breaking down each of the poses. So while we're holding our breath in the poses for 3 to 5 breaths, we'll focus from the soles of our feet all the way to the crown of our head, so we know what should be engaged, what should be softened. So look forward to that. Now let's get started. So again, coming onto the block, a blanket, the ground, doesn't matter, seated cross-legged position, also known as an easy seat. And once you arrive, begin to lift the fleshy parts from underneath you, allowing your sitting bones to make full contact with the earth. Your palms can be face up or down on your knees. You can also rest your hands in your lap, whatever feels best for you. And I invite you to either close your eyes or soften your gaze. And wherever you are, just begin to bring your awareness into this space, into your body, your breath. Let's take a couple deep breaths together. A big inhale through the nose for 3, 2, 1. Pause. And exhale for 3, 2, 1. 2 more times. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale for 3, 2, and 1. Last time, big inhale, fill the belly with air, expand the rib cage, fill up through the chest, the sternum, pause. Audible exhale, side out the mouth, releasing all the air from your belly. And return back to your natural cadence of breath here. We'll just scan our bodies, noticing areas where we can further soften or relax. Beginning from the soles of your feet, softening through the toes, moving through the legs and the hips. With every exhale, maybe you sink your hips a little deeper into the earth, moving through the belly and the chest as you lift your chest a little higher, as you draw your navel slightly into your spine to slightly engage the core muscles here. Extending through the spine and the back, through the shoulders as you soften them. Down the arms, the hands and fingers, soften. And from your neck through to the crown of your head. Maybe with every inhale you lift a little taller to the crown. And maybe now that you have softened in some areas like your chest, your shoulders, and engaged in other areas such as your core. Have you noticed any subtle differences now from when you first sat in this pose? And as you're ready, begin to blink the eyes open, bring awareness back into the space. Begin to just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. And as you inhale, reach your arms high overhead. Exhale to twist towards the right. Left hand comes onto the right knee, right hand comes directly behind you. If you have a blocker blanket underneath, option to keep it where it is or remove it. And as you inhale again, go with the idea to grow taller to the crown of your head. So imagine there's a string tied, wrapped around the top of your head, and somebody is gently pulling the string a little higher, all while keeping the hips nice and rooted into the earth. And as you exhale, use the space you've just created between each vertebra of the spine to twist a little deeper. And if it feels good, maybe you twist through your neck, gazing past your right shoulder. And a big inhale brings you out of the twist, back to center, arms come high. And exhale to twist over to the left side now. Right hand, left knee, left hand comes behind you. Inhale grows you taller. And exhale, twist you deeper. One more big breath in. And big breath out. Inhale brings you high. And exhale brings you low. Palms lower onto the earth in front of you. Round out very generously through the spine. I'm going to remove my blanket from underneath me and give you a side view here. So as I walk my hands out in front of me, my belly is draping over my legs. My chin rests into my chest. And you should feel the stretch from your glutes all the way through the upper back. And we'll take a big inhale here. And exhale to roll over your shins. And press your palms firm into the earth beneath you, meeting in tabletop pose. And your palms are pressed firm into the earth. Your fingers are nice and widespread, and what that's going to do is give you a really supported and solid foundation in the upper body here. Your wrists are directly under your shoulders, your knees directly underneath your hips. When I mentioned throughout the practice to keep your core engaged, oftentimes we dump the weight forward in our belly as such. So when you engage your core, you're being mindful of that weight dumping and slightly drawing the navel inward towards the spine as you tuck the tailbone forward. And this automatically, organically engages the core muscles here. So the core is very important during most poses in the practice. So from tabletop pose, inhale as you send your tailbone high, drop the belly low, open your heart through your arms, gaze up to the ceiling as you stretch to the front of the neck, cow pose. Exhale to tuck the tailbone forward, draw the navel into the spine, round out generously through the upper back, press the mat away, chin into your chest, cow. 2 more times moving through this. Inhale, tailbone high, belly low, gaze is up. And exhale to round and tuck, pressing into the earth. 1 last time. Inhale, rise. And exhale, lower. And the inhale brings you back to center here. So keep the core nice and engaged still. Press firm through the palms. Ensure that the toes are tucked, and on the exhale, send your hips high into downward facing dog, the most common transition pose. So we'll find a little brief moment of movement here. Maybe you lift one heel, lower the other, alternate sides. And feel free to shake the head yes, nod it no, releasing tension in the neck and shoulder region. Feel the arms being strengthened. Feel the legs being stretched out. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Soften your chest. And just know that as you come in stillness here, Your heels don't necessarily need to be touching the ground. Now, you might feel some tightness in your calves preventing that to happen, or that maybe that's just your body anatomy. So coming, lifted as much as you can onto the feet, not necessarily onto the toes, but just on the feet, wherever that feels good to you. And as you inhale, begin to lift your right leg high to the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, right knee shifts forward, and gently plant your right foot in between your hands, lower onto the back knee, untuck the toes, low lunge pose. And inhale brings your arms high overhead, and exhale allows you to soften and settle here. So in our low lunge pose, your right knee is directly over your right ankle. And same for the back leg. Your left hip is directly over your left knee here. Your shoulders are relaxed, your core is engaged, and your chest is soft. Reaching through the fingertips to fully engage the arms here. And as you exhale, open arm twist to the right. So right arm long behind, left arm long in front. Continuing to warm up the spine and our bodies for our practice. Again, maybe you gaze to the backs of the fingers. And an inhale brings you nice and high overhead. Beautiful. Exhale to lower your fingertips onto the earth. Bring your blocks off the sides of your right leg. If you don't have your blocks, just keep your fingertips lifted onto the earth. And as you exhale, send your hips towards your back heel. Wiggle your right foot forward a bit until you're able to straighten out your right leg here. And still keeping your hips nice and elevated, so we're not dumping our weight back like this. We're staying nice and lifted here. So right here is where you're really going to feel this. So you're here on your blocks, nice and long through the spine. I'm just gonna break this down. Engage the right leg by flexing the right toes to the body. Your hips might naturally want to sink over to the left, and you'll notice that just by looking at your right leg and the placement of your hips in alignment with your knees. Or your hips with alignment with your left knee. So to fix that, simply draw the left hip stacked over the left knee. Send your right hip back slightly, even if that means you have to slide your right leg, and that will naturally draw your left hip forward and your back into alignment. Stay nice and long to the crown of your head, so you're also not rounding out too much to the spine. Lift all the way from the low back, all the way to the mid, upper, and all the way through to the crown of the head. And if this is where you are, then that's where you are. You're still definitely reaping the benefits from the pose. If you wish to go deeper, lead your heart towards your right leg until you feel that sweet spot, that nice stretch in the right hamstring and glute without over compromising the form we've set up in our leg area here. And once you find that sweet spot, just allow your chin to rest into your chest. And we'll begin to walk our hands back up to the top of our space, re-bend into the front knee, set the blocks off to the side for now. If you wiggled your right leg forward, draw it back into the center of your body, plant your palms firm, tuck your back toes, lift off the back knee. This is technically a pose runner's lunge, but we're only here for transition. So inhale, brings your right leg back high, and an exhale lowers. Let's do all that on the other side. Inhale, left leg high. Exhale, left knee into your chest, shift forward, and gently plant your left foot. Nice. And as an option, you can stay right here in the low runner's lunge. You can lower onto your back knee and untuck your toes. But as an option, if it's not feasible for you to lift your leg high when I cue a three-legged dog, and this is here or in any yoga setting, you can simply just draw the knee into your chest. So skipping the lift and just drawing it in. So just want to mention that so you know your options. So as you arrive, back toes untucked, find the placement in your body. As your left ankle directly under your left knee or your hip squared forward, core is engaged, right hip over right knee, arms high, chest relaxed, shoulders relaxed, reaching through the fingers to fully engage the arms. When I mean reach through the fingers, imagine that you're shooting beams of light through your hands into the space. So that will naturally bring your fingers widespread, just like we did in tabletop pose. And that is natural formation that you'll want to learn to take in your hands when you're pressing firm into the earth, whether you're in down dog, plank pose, tabletop, or if you're in a position as such, low lunge, high lunge, anything like that. So this will naturally engage the arms, but be sure to keep the shoulders relaxed. So as we exhale, open arm twist to the left. And we're here for just a couple of breaths. Again, maybe gazing past your left shoulder if that feels good on your neck. And if not, just gaze straight forward. An inhale brings you back to center, arms come high. And an exhale lowers your palms onto the earth. Grab your block, send your hips back, half Swiss pose. Option to wiggle your left leg in front of you, flexing your left toes to the body, keeping your right hip stacked over your right knee, hips are square. Draw your right hip forward as you send your left hip back. Go nice and tall through the spine, lift, 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 all the way to the crown of the head. And if you wish to go deeper, lead with your heart towards your left leg without over-compromising the position of your low body. And as you find the sweet spot, chin into your chest. And take a couple more breaths here to balance out. And while we're here, just a couple of fun tips. So tip 1 is every single pose that you do in yoga, you always do on one side and then the other. So you always want to balance out the body. And you want to do your best to stay in those poses for the same amount of time that you did on the other side as well. And begin to shift your weight forward, re-bend into the front knee, draw the left leg back into the body, set your blocks up to the side, plant the palms firm, tuck the back toes, lift off the back knee. Option to just step your left foot back into down dog, or you can send it high, three-legged dog first, and downward facing dog. Nice. Begin to bend in the knees and take baby steps to the top of your space as you look in between the space between your thumbs. And you might need to bend the knees or straighten them out. And as you arrive, forward fold. So in this forward fold, take a nice bend in your knees if needed. Allow your belly to drape over your thighs, head hangs heavy. Your palms can rest onto the earth. And inhale to halfway lift, extend, making a 7 shape with your body. Your palms rest onto your shins or your thighs, but do avoid your knees. So you're almost sending your hips back or reaching your heart forward and using the palms of your hands to press and reach here. And exhale to fold forward again. Slight bend in the knees, begin to actively rise. Rise 1 vertebra at a time. And this, when you hear active rise or slow rise in this class setting, this is what they mean. Rising up slow, allowing the head to come up last, letting the body know we're here, we've arrived, we're in this space, we're in this practice, not rushing, not forcing. And as you reach your highest elevation, just allow your shoulders to roll up to your ears, down your back, open through the heart. Nice. And I want to break down this pose here, mountain pose, also known as Tadasana. So I think we're just standing here in space, but really there's a lot going on. So the soles of our feet are firmly rooted into the earth, and to ground down through all 3 corners of your feet, 1, 2, and 3. Lift the toes off of the earth and lower them down 1 toe at a time. So your toes end up almost clawing the ground. You'll feel much more stability here. Lift your patella, your kneecap, into your thigh. So if you can see, this is bent, this is lifted. So you can almost hopefully see the engagement in this leg, and you can also feel it if you feel your quad muscles here. So with that engagement, just as we did in low lunge pose and in our seated pose, you want to draw the navel into the spine by tipping the tailbone forward slightly to engage the core muscles. So already you're feeling all this activation and engagement in the lower half of the body. So lift through the chest, soften the shoulders, reach through the arms and fingertips to engage the arms here, just as we did, shooting that light, shooting that energy. and we're lifting nice and tall to the crown of our head. So this is much more active. So before you might have been here, now you're here. So I hope you feel the difference. Moving along. And inhale reaches our arms overhead, and the exhale allows us to fold forward. Inhale to halfway lift, and exhale to fold. Plant your palms, step back into downward facing dog. Let's take a big inhale through the nose here. An audible exhale, side out the mouth. Inhale, draw your right knee into your chest and gently plant your right foot in between your hands. Pivot the back heel onto the mat, so you're rooting your left heel into the earth, and open up into Warrior Two pose. So you can just follow me for now and what this looks like, and I will cue what it should feel like. So your right knee is over your right ankle, and you should have your right knee in alignment with the ninth edge of your right foot. So oftentimes our right leg might be tilted more inwards, but we want to bring it outwards, engaging more of the inner thigh here. Your right ankle is in alignment with your left heel or your left arch. Again, core is engaged, shoulders relax and soften. Also 90-degree bend-ish in this front knee. Palms facing down, reaching through the fingertips. Your drishti, also known as your gaze, is off of your right middle finger. Voila, you've entered Warrior Two. Nice. And from here, we're just gonna reach our right arm forward, shifting our weight to the front of our mat. Flip your right palm and begin to reverse. Your right arm is overhead, left hand rests onto your back thigh or wrapped around your low back. And you should feel this. You should feel some strength in your right quad, but more so stretch in the right side body. Breathe into that space. And we're gonna open back up into our Warrior Two and bring your palms onto the earth. Lift off of the back heel. Your hips are squared forward, palms planting firm, and step back into your downward facing dog. Nice. All of that goodness on the opposite side now. Draw the left knee into the chest, plant the foot, lower onto the back heel, the right heel, and inhale to rise into your Warrior Two on the other side. Quick check-in with the body. Left ankle over left, under left knee. Left knee into the ninth edge of your left foot. Feel the opening and the engagement in the inner left thigh. Left heel is aligned with the arch in the right foot or the right heel. Core is engaged, hips are open, chest is soft, shoulders relaxed, arms are long, palms face down, gaze is past your left middle finger. Nice. Let's take another breath here. Inhale reaches you forward, flips your palm, and exhale to reverse. Left hand low back, wrapped around the low back or the right thigh. Take a breath, feel the stretch in the left side body. Keep the 90-degree bend in your left leg. And bring your palms onto the earth. Square the hips forward with your mat. Lift off the back heel. Plant the palms firm. Step your left foot back with the right down dog. And we'll take a big inhale through the nose. An audible exhale, side out the mouth. And begin to lower onto the knees. Bring them wide to the edges of your mat. Allow your big toes to touch, moving into child's pose. Sink your hips towards your heels by walking your hands up to the body. You should feel a nice stretch in the ankles here. Allow your belly to sink in between your thighs. Arms come long in front of you. And allow your forehead to rest onto the mat. Just take a few moments here. Checking in with your body. Checking in with your breath. And while we're here, another fun fact for you for a beginner is when you are practicing yoga, just how we mentioned balancing out the sides of the body. So whatever we do on one side, always doing it on the other side in our sequence, we always also start with the right side. So if you notice when we did low lunge and the warrior 2 sequence, we started by bringing the right leg forward first. And then we reset by coming into down dog and then took it onto the left side. So that is how it's done. As you're ready, begin to walk the hands up to your body. And we'll make our way back onto our butts, cross-legged position here. And we'll close our practice out together for today by bringing our palms to our heart. Let's take one final big cleansing breath together. Big inhale through the nose, biggest inhale of all. Fill the belly with air all the way up to the chest, the sternum, the clavicle. Pause. And big, loud, audible exhale. Make some noise. And the light in me bows, honors, acknowledges, and sees the light in you. Namaste. I hope that you enjoyed this practice and are able to walk away with some new information, some new knowledge. I'll be here every single Friday posting fresh new content. If you have any special requests or things you'd like to see on my channel, feel free to drop it in the comments below. And again, if you loved what you did today, go ahead and like, subscribe, and sign up for live updates for when I release new videos every Friday. And also know that with my Business Connect Yoga, I offer private one-on-one and group sessions, whether it be for corporate events, conferences, whatever it may be. And know that I also offer weekly virtual classes every Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. So if you love this, then you'll love my classes. Simply put. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Peace.